Welcome to Folklore Frights. Today, we're diving into the dark and eerie world of Japanese folklore, where spirits and supernatural beings lurk in the shadows, waiting to strike fear into the hearts of those who dare to listen. From vengeful spirits to haunted creatures, these stories have been passed down through generations, and they are as terrifying now as they were centuries ago. Let's explore some of the scariest folklore stories from Japan. Our first story is that of Kuchisake Onna, also known as the slit-mouthed woman. This tale dates back to the Edo period in Japan and remains one of the most chilling urban legends to this day. Kuchisake Onna is said to be the vengeful spirit of a woman whose jealous husband mutilated her, slashing her mouth from ear to ear after discovering her infidelity. In modern times, she appears as a mysterious woman wearing a surgical mask, a common sight in Japan. She approaches her victims, usually children or young adults, and asks them a simple yet terrifying question: "Am I pretty?" If they answer yes, she removes her mask to reveal her gruesome disfigurement and asks again. Depending on the response, she either slashes the victim's mouth to match her own or kills them on the spot. Some versions of the legend suggest that answering ambiguously or offering her candy might save you, but who's willing to take that chance? Next, we have the story of Teke Teke, a ghost with a tragic past. Teke Teke is the spirit of a schoolgirl who met a horrific end after falling onto train tracks and being severed in half by an oncoming train. Now as a ghost, she haunts urban areas, especially near train stations, and despite having no lower body, she moves with alarming speed. Dragging herself along using her hands or elbows, she produces an eerie Teke Teke sound as she approaches her victims. If she catches someone, she slices them in half with a sharp tool, ensuring they meet the same gruesome fate she did. This story has become a popular urban legend, especially among Japanese schoolchildren, and it serves as a haunting reminder of the consequences of tragic accidents. The Onryo are perhaps some of the most feared spirits in all of Japanese folklore. These malevolent beings are believed to be the ghosts of people, often women, who died with intense feelings of anger, jealousy, or hatred, usually due to being wronged, betrayed, or murdered. These powerful emotions trap their spirits in the mortal world, preventing them from moving on to the afterlife. Instead, they return as Onryo, seeking vengeance on those who wronged them or their loved ones. Onryo are capable of causing physical harm or even death to the living, and they can bring calamities or misfortunes to those they haunt. Famous examples include Oiwa from the kabuki play Yotsuya Kaidan and Okiku from the Bancho Sarayashiki legend. The image of a woman with long, disheveled hair and a white burial kimono is iconic in Japanese horror, symbolizing the relentless nature of these spirits. Let's move on to the story of Yuki Onna, the Snow Woman. This spirit, or yokai, is associated with winter and snow, often appearing during snowstorms. Descriptions of Yuki Onna vary, but she is commonly portrayed as a beautiful woman with long black hair, pale skin, and an icy demeanor. Dressed in a white kimono, she blends seamlessly with the snow, making her nearly impossible to spot. Yuki Onna is known to approach travelers who have become lost in the snow, and with her supernatural powers, she freezes them to death with a single breath. In some versions of the story, Yuki Onna spares those who are kind-hearted or those who plead for their lives, while in others, she is merciless and leaves no survivors. Some legends suggest that Yuki Onna was once human, transformed into a spirit due to a tragic death in the snow, forever bound to the cold, unforgiving wilderness. Another terrifying figure from Japanese folklore is the Gashadokuro, or the starving skeleton. These giant skeletons, said to be 15 times taller than an average human, are formed from the amassed bones of people who died from starvation or in battle without proper burial rites. Gashadokuro are known to roam the countryside during the dead of night, their bones clattering as they move. These colossal beings hunt down lone travelers, and if they catch them, they bite off their heads to drink their blood or crush them to death. The Gashadokuro are invisible to the naked eye, but they can be detected by the sound of their teeth chattering, a sound that heralds certain doom. These skeletal giants are thought to be indestructible, and continue to roam until the collective grudge that created them is resolved, often through rituals to appease the dead. Next, we have the story of Jorogumo, the Binding Bride. Jorogumo is a yokai or supernatural creature that appears as a beautiful woman, but is in reality a deadly spider demon. This creature lures young men into her lair by feigning distress or asking for help, only to reveal her true form, a gigantic spider, when it's too late. Once her victims are ensnared in her web, Jorogumo slowly drains their life force or devours them entirely. She is often associated with water, with some versions of the legend placing her in or near waterfalls, where she sings a haunting song to lure in her prey. This tale serves as a cautionary story about the dangers of deception and seduction, common themes in Japanese folklore. Finally, we come to Aka Manto, or the Red Cloak, a malevolent spirit that haunts public and school bathrooms, particularly the last stall in the row. The legend tells of a handsome young man who was so frequently harassed by admirers that he wore a mask to hide his face. After his untimely death, he returned as a vengeful spirit. When someone is alone in a bathroom stall, Akamanto appears and asks whether they want red paper or blue paper. If they choose red, they are slashed so severely that it looks as if they are wearing a red cloak. If they choose blue, they are strangled until their face turns blue. Attempting to outsmart Akamanto by asking for a different color usually results in being dragged to the underworld. The only way to escape is to refuse both options or ignore the spirit altogether. This urban legend taps into the fear of using public restrooms, where one is at their most vulnerable, and has been retold in various forms across Japan. These are just a few of the terrifying tales from Japan's rich folklore tradition. Each story offers a glimpse into the darker side of human nature and the supernatural, where the lines between the living and the dead are often blurred. If you enjoyed this dive into Japanese folklore, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more eerie stories from around the world. Until next time, keep your lights on and your doors locked. There's always something lurking in the shadows.